Morning, this is Larry Adams with Channel FSR in Central Illinois. Today I'm again joined with Matt Bennett with agmarket.net. How are you today, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing great. Got a little planting done this week. Weather's been beautiful. Been able to get a lot done. I guess I'm a little concerned about storm system rolling in here. We're talking Wednesday morning, and we're forecasted to get potentially 2.5 inches. So we're going to let the planter sit for today. But I'm pretty well done with bean planting at this stage, other than some river bottoms. And on corn, I've only got an easy day or two, and I'll be done there too.
So, obviously with the markets going like they're going right now and the crude oil, what's some thoughts on some of the things you've seen since last our time we talked together?
Yeah, I'd say Monday was a historic day. There's no other way to put it. And so Monday, essentially, what you saw was front month futures, May crude oil, traded down close to zero, and then the CME halted trade and made an announcement that they were going to allow crude oil to trade into the negative. So here's a physical commodity that they're saying that you can purchase it, but it could go to negative value, which obviously in your trading account could cost you a lot of money. Now, if you were a person who bought it at zero on Monday, it settled at $37 in the red. And so for each crude oil contract, and as we all know, we've got trading limits. Like corn can only move 25 cents, whatnot. Crude only usually moves, $3 or it depends. I mean, you can expand limits or, well, bottom line is when you're in delivery month, it can go as far as what it wants to go. So someone who bought it at zero had a $37,000 margin call per contract at the close of the session on Monday. Okay, and so then Tuesday is when May crude oil went off the board. And May actually settled in the positive, which a lot of folks are wondering, what are you going to do if it settles in the negative? Like if someone wants to take delivery, in essence, the way these markets are designed is that you take delivery of it if you own it at the end of the contract, okay? Physical delivery, that's what backs up the whole system. And so, quite frankly, yes, it was a historic trading day. I've got a lot of huge concerns as to why the CME would allow what they allowed. And I think there's a lot of folks that got pinched pretty hard that don't agree with it as well. And I think it definitely provides, I guess, some big question marks since commodities are so important to us, particularly corn and soybeans.
Sure, sure. Only thing worse than making the margin call is a guy on the other end receiving it, right? So that's a tough day to make those things happen. So
Absolutely.
when you're talking about all these markets like they're doing, so I've been talking to quite a few guys the last few days, and there's a lot of old corn out there. What do those guys do with that now in the position
Yeah.
we're at?
Right. You know, uh, we're sitting here recording this, on Wednesday. Okay. And so the market bounced off of some just major lows on Tuesday. We went down and tested $3. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that in 15 years. I mean, bottom line, I think the last time we went down to that price level, I guess, was '09. But, in the last 20 years, we've only seen this three times. So, you're looking at some seriously low prices. We bounced off that. We were down 13, 14 cents at the time, settled down a nickel. And so Tuesday, you'd like to think, it's a nice little day. As we talk Wednesday, we're up 3 or 4 or 5 cents. But do I trust this is a rally that's going to be sustaining? And I think at the present time, the answer would be no. I'd certainly be concerned. I'm not saying we go out and sell everything because we've lost a lot and we do need to recuperate some. But I think that the thing is, if you're going to hold on to it, there are tools that you can put in place. For instance, just simply buying a put option. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago about buying like a 340 put.
Sure.
And some people told me that, why would I buy a 340 put? This corn market can't continue to go lower. Well, that put's worth about 25 cents more than what it was purchased for. And so, I don't know what the market's going to do. I'm just saying, if you're going to hold on to your corn, you've got to understand that in a market that we've seen unprecedented moves, we can continue to see unprecedented moves. And the same people trading crude oil, a lot of times, are the same people trading corn, because corn's traded for energy, as we know, with the ethanol aspect. And so I don't want to have too many eggs in one basket without protecting my rear end on the other side of things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, they always said the pigs eat, hogs go to slaughter, right? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's some people that we need to be able to do something. We said this last few weeks, do something, right? And you got to get in and do some options and do some things in there. So you talked a little bit about old crop. What about new crop? You know, if I'm out a producer right here right now, I've got a chance to get $3 corn for new crop. Why do I do that?
That's a really good question. Okay, and so this is probably as complicated or more of a question is what old crop. Old crop is a frustrating dilemma, and I would say a person holding on to a lot of old crop corn I know is in a bad mood and frustrated, and there's not a lot of easy answers by any stretch of the imagination. But when we're talking new crop, if you sell today, okay, and the market moves lower, you're gonna get PLC money most likely, and I that'd be different for everyone, but uh, most likely you're going to get PLC money. Most likely, if your yields aren't just through the roof, you're going to get insurance money too. And so, if you sell today and you get hedged, you could double or triple dip, and it would be a pretty good day for you. It's not say you're going to get rich, but you're certainly going to have. If you sell today at $3 corn and then the market rallies 50 cents, that is not a good situation. That is a tough spot to be in. And so, you know, if you're going to sell some corn because you're worried about it moving lower, I understand that, but you also need to know that this is a really good time to manage some risk, uh, to be able to insulate yourself that if the market moves higher, you're going to at least participate in a portion of that. You want to limit your risk and not get too exposed on either side of the market because simple fact of the matter is we're in a really tough spot with where prices are today. I would remind people that below 330, if you've got 85% crop insurance, you're insulated at your insured bushels. Below 350 at 90%, those are things to consider because, if the D's corn market follows along with what we've seen, and we do have another leg lower, I would think some sort of an ownership strategy would be prudent. So in essence, it's an opportunity to manage some risk if we see another leg lower. So yeah, it's complicated, but there are things you can do. You just have to really be proactive and be thinking about the best ways to manage this risk.
Matthew, I think it actually is maybe a little easier where sometimes when we give it credit for. So if there's one or two things you could do for advice, what would you do? And let's just pick old corn this time.
That's a good question. I think first of all, if you're not going to sell your corn, you want to sit on it. I understand that. That's fine, but you got to understand what the risk, to doing that is. And so, I want to at least have a floor into the market. We've been talking to people about just buying a put option. We've been buying a June put. Part of the reason it gets us through the May crop report, gets us through spring planting. We know the weather's been a little bit better than what everyone forecasted it was going to be this spring. And so the likelihood of some more pressure on the corn complex is probably uh, present. I don't know that I would say it's going to happen, but it's certainly that likelihood is there. And so, at the same time, a producer that's got all that old corn sitting there, they've seen their values erode significantly. They've
Sure.
had opportunities to buy puts before. We recommended buying like 340 puts before, and those things people thought that it was a worthless notion to even consider, and they're worth quite a bit of money now. A 310 put right now, June 310 put's going to run you around nickel. And so if I'm holding on to my old corn, I might at least want to consider doing something like that. The other thing is, if I want to go ahead and sell it, I know the tendency is I'm going to re-own the corn.
Sure.
If I'm going to re-own the corn, I'm going to do it in a manner that has a defined risk. I don't want to necessarily buy futures. Now, I'm not saying. I mean, if it works, it works, and it works well.
Sure.
Work, you just made a bad sale worse. Okay. None of us have a whole lot of skin on the bone at this present time. And so I think the more prudent thing to do if you want to re-own the corn is buy you a limited risk strategy that if it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work. But you're not putting money in every day if it doesn't work. So it's not marginable, if you will.
Fair enough. Thank you. Well, Matthew, thanks so much for your time. What's some good ways to get a hold of you for some more questions that we could answer for them?
Yeah, I've had a lot of questions through Twitter, and we're trying to address those just with our conversation here. But Chief 321 is where they can get a hold of me. Just shoot me a message there, or the email Matt Bennett at hokagency.com is where some people can email me as well.
That's fair, fair. And actually, you could reach out to me at agadams992 at Twitter also. So, Matthew, thanks again for your time today, and look forward to the next time we get together. Be safe out there.
Thank you. Yep.